What's up, guys? This is part one, where for cloud computing project, project two. Today we're going to be talking about my HTML website using the Twitter Bootstrap framework, that I use for the front end, and then we have my web folder. Within this web folder, we have our CSS script, and we have just the basic Twitter Bootstrap CSS that they provide within their documentation. We also have Font Awesome CSS, and basically what that is just a CSS for my glyphicons within my website. And so just a few things to make my life a little bit easier. Again, it's just a link to the Font Awesome and their JavaScript, and then this is Bootstrap's JavaScript. And so let's hop into my HTML. So at the top of your HTML, your basic HTML headers specifying the language, your required meta tags, and then you're linking the Twitter Bootstrap CSS, and then I also link the Font Awesome CSS, which is in my CSS folder. And this is just the project path. You don't want to use a specific path because that'll cause problems for other users. And then you have just a title there, and then you have your nav bar for the website. And so basically what that is just the top of this website right here. You see cloud heads. This is just the nav bar, and then it's just when you scroll down you have a couple of buttons that you can. Here's the cloud heads team members. They consist of 4, including myself. And yeah, this nav bar is scalable, so it is responsive. And then this is the glyphicon that I was talking about that I used from Font Awesome. Just a little something to make the website look a little bit nicer. And so yeah, you have here we're just implementing the nav class. I specify the color right here within this code, and then here is the Font Awesome glyphicon, and I'm specifying that if you click on the glyphicon, it'll take you to the Cloudheads homepage that my team members created. And so that's a cool little addition to the glyphicon. And then I had the nav bar title. I didn't include a H reference here because I didn't want it to link to anything. And then you have just your basic nav bar code that Twitter Bootstrap already provides. And then here I'm specifying the H reference for the home button, or the home nav link. This is just, again, it's linking to the home page that my team members created. And then I have another link for the nav bar to my professional portfolio, which will link to my LinkedIn. And then you have your nav drop-down bar, and here I include links to each of my team members' websites that they created. Some of them are hosted on the GCP, others are hosted on the AWS. And then we have a team page where basically if you go to our team page, it's just, it's not finished, but it has, it'll have a link to each of our websites and just pictures of us. And so we can go to Stephanie's website and just a little bit about hers. Hers is actually a lot nicer than mine is, but so yeah, that's that. Other than that, there's not really much. This search bar isn't functional. It's not something I can't implement. It's just something I don't have time to implement. Again, nothing too crazy there. Just some coding behind that. And I also have a copyright tag that I added in right here as another nav bot item. I don't want an H reference here because I don't want it to link it to anything. Just a little something extra to throw in. So yeah, let's move down to the Jumbotron. Here we have the Jumbotron, which is a class within the Twitter Bootstrap. And so yeah, we're specifying the Jumbotron here, and then the title of the Jumbotron is right here. And then within the paragraph, just a little bit about the Cloudheads team, and I talk a little bit about the different challenges of the Cloudheads and about that. And then I have a find out more about the Cloudheads, which has a button in it, and this button links to our team page. So again, nothing too crazy there. And so yeah, that's the basics for the Jumbotron. And then I have this quote card down here, and I have the container for the quote card fluid. So as I resize this page, the container will take up the entire column. And there's only one column, so it'll span the entire row, or the entire column and row, which is nice because I just personally think it looks best. And then I have the header for the quote card, and then I add a nice little block quote. Why does C get all the chicks and Java doesn't? Because C treats them like objects. A cute little joke I found on Reddit, just to deal with object-oriented programming and how Java is object-oriented and C is not. Again, and then I have the block quote footer, which I found it off Reddit, so giving them source. And then I could care less to link to some random guy on Reddit's web page, so I didn't include a source. And then that is that. And that was code that this is code right here to add spacing between the quote card and the card profile. I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but I found that this is just the easiest way to do it. So yeah, that's just the spacing for this little white space right here. That's how I got that. I'm sure you could add padding and add margins to it, but there's no, this works just as fine. Like, I haven't had a problem with this. I'm sure I'm wrong, but anyways, let's move down to the card profile. This is my card right here. This is the card. Again, another Twitter Bootstrap component. And then we're specifying that we're going to make a row right here. And in this row, I'm making the card profile, I'm making the container fluid, and I'm specifying how many columns I want the card to take up at different pixels. And so here, if we look at the Twitter Bootstrap grid options, anything less than 576 pixels is extra small. Anything greater than 576 pixels is small. Anything greater than 760 pixels is medium. Anything greater than 992 pixels is large. And anything greater than 1200 pixels is extra large. And so here, if we open up the developer tools, we can see how many pixels we're at what different resize. And so I just specify how many columns I want the card to take up at different pixel resizes. And so this makes it so the two columns that I have here don't run into each other. So I have one column for my card, and I have another column for the about me, skill, for all this stuff right here. And so the making the columns, you want to specify how many columns you want each. How many columns you want it to span for each column that you have, and you always want each column to add up to 12. So you see, for an extra large resolution, I have 9 for one column, and I have 3 for other, which you always want your column size to equal out to 12. And so that's what I'm doing here. And then you just have the about me. I use the header tag and the underline tag, and then I'm adding a little bit of paragraphs about me as a student. And then again, we're doing the same thing for skills. We're adding lists, which is that's just basic HTML tags. Again, we're doing the same thing for studies. And then I hosted this website on the Amazon Web Service, and the project requirement is to link to a Google Cloud platform. If you're supposed to have one for the Google Cloud platform and one for the GCP, or I mean one for the GCP and one for the AWS. And so I hosted mine on the AWS. But if you click on this button, it'll go to the website that the team created for the GCP, the website that is being hosted on the GCP that the team created, and so that is what that is doing right there. So yeah, nothing too crazy there. I added a button with an H reference to the GCP website that we created, and basically that's the end of the card. And then this footer here, it's nice and interesting. Again, the footer is it's just a footer class, and this is a part of it's just its own class. And I'm on the right side of the footer. I'm specifying the glyphicons that go in here, and so each of these H references right here are a different glyphicon. Like the first one is this Facebook's glyphicon, and in the Facebook glyphicon, I'm adding an H reference to my Facebook, and then I do the same thing for Twitter and LinkedIn and GitHub. And so each of those have a link to my Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and GitHub. So that's the end of that. And then for the home, blog, security, about, and other, I added the home link will link back to our home page. The blog, I don't have a blog, so I linked to a cybersecurity blog that I read every now and again. And then I also, for security, I linked to another security blog. And then the about, I actually don't know what link. I think the about I linked to our team page, and then other, I think I linked to Suda's website. So nothing too crazy there. And then I ended off with a copyright, just for added style. And then this is the end of the footer, and then down here we have our scripts that we need to implement, our JavaScripts that we need to implement to make Bootstrap and Font Awesome run properly in our HTML. And so that's all for part one. I'll be back with part two to demonstrate how we upload the HTML to the AWS. Thank you.